Hi everybody. So this is this week's race for Daily Race C, Watkins Glen, Group 4. It's kind of a interesting layout. It's a short track layout. So the first few races I didn't have a time posted, so I started pretty far back in the pack. This one I did post a time, and I ended up qualifying in P4, and it turned into a really good race. So I'm in the Mazda 3. One of the other streamers that I watch said that some front wheel drive cars might do well at this track, so I'm using the Mazda because it's one of the front wheel drive cars and I know it has really good top end speed. Into the bus stop chicane here. Trying to cut as much of the corners as I can, but not get a penalty. You'll see coming up here where the penalty line is on this back straight, you will lose a ton of momentum in there and definitely give up places. So, gotta be really careful. So after one lap, I'm still in P4, but no major mistakes. I'm still with the group in front, so it's good. The meta car I found for this race was the Honda, which you can see in front of me here. But there's a bunch of other cars that are supposed to do quite well in this race as well. There you go. See, look, there's a little bit of... I let off just a little bit because I didn't want to cause an incident there, but we picked up a 0.5 second penalty for track limits there. I found that my new patience is kind of paying off. Not rushing in, trying to overtake all the time. You know, when there's a group of cars, you don't really know what's going to happen. And a lot of these guys or girls that are racing, I don't know what their risk choices are, so I try not to. Moves over for me nicely there. That was really nice. Into this last corner. Edge there. And like I was saying, you don't know what their risk choices are, so it's sometimes it can be pretty dicey to try and, you know, go into some of those tight corners with them. So he managed to stay pretty tight to me here. He's going down the inside, and I left a little bit of space there because I didn't want to turn down on him. Good overtake, turn one. So he's back in P3. Here, I'm not trying to go around him here. I mean, I'm trying to actually bump draft him, but I don't want to accidentally clip him on a back corner and spin him out or something like that. So, you'll notice on these, there's a few straights in this on this track layout, and the slipstream in this is a custom, so it's definitely very strong toe. With a car with a good top speed like the Mazda, you can make up a lot of time, but you got to make sure you stay in the slipstream. And yeah, that should be another penalty for him in front there. Off. Yeah, there it is. So you got to be really careful in those last two corners, not to scrub off too much speed. I'm not going to go for a move down here, but I don't want to bump him too close to the turning zone or the braking zone either, because I'm not trying to, you know, punt him off the end. Like I said, in those last couple corners, you got to try to carry as much speed as you can through there. And the S's, everything's pretty smooth. The other thing with the slipstream, if you find somebody you can work with and you can bump draft them, like I'm trying not to lose track of P1 or P2, so I'm trying to work with P3 there and push a little bit so we can get some, stay with the lead cars, otherwise I don't want to accidentally get left behind. Anyway, so there he is serving his penalty again. Then I go back into P3. Make sure, there we go, back on the accelerator quickly enough. Right down in there, so carrying P3. Made it all the way to the end of lap 5. I figured since I've opened up a little bit of a gap and I've got a gap ahead, gotta do one pit stop in this. No tire changes required, but one pit stop at least. I figured now would be as good a time as any. Get in there, no refuel needed or anything like that. Try a little bit of an undercut. I don't know if it's gonna. The gap to the first two is a little bit too far. I don't know if it's gonna make that little bit of a difference, but we'll see. So drop me back down to P11. So let's see if this pace can get back some of those spots. These are fun. Okay, so in the penalty zone by P6 or lap 6. So I made up one spot in the penalty zone there, and I think there's still some people in the pits. Yeah, here we go. At least one anyway. Golden boy. Okay, a couple spots. That's not bad. See, now I haven't run on him here, but like I said before, I don't know this guy. So I'm not, and I mean, there you see a little bit of the glitch. I don't want to go into this bus stop with a guy that I don't really know. So anyway, I got that position anyway. I don't know how that happened, but whatever. Another spot on lap 7 to 8. So yeah, I'm clawing my way back up there. So right now, net. I'm in P3. I just picked up a penalty, man. Anyway, and the Porsche in front of me, Gojo, is net P2. And then Killing Speed 17 in P5 is net P1. So, not too bad. I mean, I don't know where P5 is right now, but I can definitely see Porsche, which is good. You will notice the differences here. Serve that penalty. I was starting to make up some time there, but anyway, you'll start to notice the difference between the cars. The Porsche, Honda, the handling and the speed they can carry in the corners is a lot higher. But top speed wise, for me, it works better with the Mazda. So I'm going to go down into lap 10. So we're really caught up to him now. Been using that speed on the straights like I was talking about. Go back on coast a little bit, get back on the throttle. Speed, get back on the throttle early. See, I could probably get on it even earlier because it looks like I could go out to the edges of that, use the edge of that track a little bit better on that corner. But bringing the delta down is good. Just hold that one. And you can see here the the slipstream, the toe is pretty significant coming up this hill. Just reeling them in. Here I'm kind of coasting, and then when that exit road kind of comes on, I'm kind of playing with the throttle and the steering to try and, try and get around that corner as fast as possible. But he's in the pits. I definitely can carry some more speed through that corner. I don't know. I think I gotta get back on the throttle over there. Okay, so there you go, top 5. Yeah, I'm almost certain that that was a penalty. I mean, I think it is. I don't know. No, apparently not. That's actually kind of surprising. So I want to work with Gojo here because I want to try and see if we can make up some time. 2 at P1, who is actually now in P2. So he's made up some spaces. It looks like the Honda in front is kind of all over the place. So he's picked himself up a penalty there. He's going to stay defensive. To try and hold on to this position, even though it doesn't look like he quite has the pace. Watch that. I don't want to tap Gojo's corner there. Another spot, so now we're P4. The guy that was in P4 is now in P6. The undercut worked a little bit. Well, not really. I mean, when I went into the pits, I was in P3, he was in P4, so I guess I managed to not really use an undercut, but put some distance between us. Anyway, I bump him here because I want him to get ahead of the Honda, because I feel like the Honda is a little bit more herky-jerky in these corners. I wasn't trying to send him off. I hope that wasn't what happened there. He did kind of lose it in the bus stop, back into the bus stop chicane there. So they both both picked up a 1-second penalty. So okay, so now we're back up into P3, and I just need to stay close to him here. We're lap 13. So going on to lap 14, got to try to close this gap so I can take advantage of this penalty. Ooh, that's not going to help. Hitting the wall there, carrying a little too much speed through that last corner. That really kind of puts a little extra gap in there. I got to make this up on climbing up the hill here. 4 or less. So you can see the speed of the Mazda here. It really helps. Go up this hill. So now I'm down below a second. Reeling them in. As long as I can stay close enough, hopefully I can take advantage of this penalty. Through the long right-hander into the back straight. He's going to take that penalty. I'm going to move to the inside. So, okay. He's right back on it though. It's not much of a gap. It's actually less than a second. So I got to carry as much speed as I can through every spot here. So on to the last lap. Going into turn 1. Watch the radar, make sure he's not diving in from way, way back. Cut that corner, get on the throttle, use all the track. Could have used more of it there. Keep the speed up into the S's. The Mazda, you kind of rev it a little bit over, so you'll see my rev meter at the top blinking, holding it just a little bit just before you hit the rev limiter. There we go, down into the bus stop, less than half a second. Tight, kind of tight. Get a little wide here, don't really hold that line quite as tight. Hopefully that's, looks like it's opening up a spot for him, but it's not. I'm going to stay on the inside because I think, I think here that I have enough gap. Now you be the judge of this. I think there's enough gap. He moves back behind me and then he moves again to try and dive under here. I think that he was too far back there, so I don't think that was blocking, but it doesn't matter. I made my own mistake. I carried too much speed, which I'd been trying to do the whole time. Gave myself a penalty. So anyway, I finished P2, but I ended up in P3 because of the penalty. So that was a really good race. I like this race a lot. If you like watching these races, or if you like this race, you can hit that like button. If you like watching this content and you enjoy what's going on here, if you give me a subscribe, get me up to maybe 15 subscribers, that'd be great. Thanks for watching. See you again next time. Bye for now.